She turned to you a little bit
Yeah.
after the fever
I ain't
score.
answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough.
And then Kennedy Carter got a hit in on Caitlin in the third quarter. What'd you think of the play, and have you had any conversations with officials or even Caitlin herself about how to handle moments like that?
Yeah, I'm just really proud of her for not reacting. You know, that was a moment, she's a competitor and she kept her cool, and I'm so, that's exactly what she needed to do in that moment in this game. It was a tight game. Like, we didn't need to, but she handled it amazing. I'm going to go back and look at it. I'll probably send it into the league. That's what we keep doing. We just keep sending all these clips into the league, and they keep telling us why we're not right about our calls, or what we think. But we're going to keep doing it. These guys are going to start getting calls. They've got to start getting calls.
No, I mean, basketball is competitive. I get it. Sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Happened to me multiple times throughout the course of my career. People are competitive. It is what it is. And she's having a tremendous season. She's played great basketball in my eyes, probably in first place for sixth player of the year. She's been great off the bench for them. I think she had 25 here last night and really helped them win the game. So no, and that's just not where my focus is. That's not what I think about on a day-to-day basis. I think about my team. I think about ways that I can get better. It's just basketball at the end of the day. There's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive. It's not gonna be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is. And I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Angel Reese applauds teammate for taking a cheap shot at Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese WNBA rivalry intensifies with hard hits and drama, setting the stage for an exciting season. The rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has escalated from their college days to the professional stage in the WNBA. Both players now find themselves on opposing teams, Clark with the Indiana Fever and Reese with the Chicago Sky. During the game, Clark took a series of hard hits from the Chicago players. One incident stood out when Chennedy Carter delivered a hard foul on Clark, sending her to the floor. This was just before she was called a bitch by Carter. Reese, who was on the bench at the time, enthusiastically applauded Carter's action, displaying her support for her teammate and perhaps relishing the moment given her history with Clark. Reese's own action during the game added to the drama. In the fourth quarter, she delivered a hard box out that resulted in Clark hitting the floor again. Reese's physical play and subsequent stare down of Clark highlighted the fierce competitiveness between the two. Clark ultimately had the last laugh as her team, the Indiana Fevers, secured a narrow 71-70 victory. She posted solid stats with 11 points, 8 rebounds and 6 assists, demonstrating her resilience and skill under pressure. Reese, while dominating on the board with 13 rebounds, struggled with her shooting, finishing with 8 points. The rivalry between Clark and Reese, marked by intense competition and physicality, promises to be a highlight of the WNBA season. With more matchups ahead, fans can expect this rivalry to continue heating up, bringing an added layer of excitement to their games. The next meeting will undoubtedly be one to watch as both players and their teams continue to battle it out on the court. Austin Rivers calls out Caitlin Clark's haters while Matt Barnes slams her teammates. Austin Rivers and Matt Barnes both had strong opinions following the recent physical altercation involving Caitlin Clark during the Indiana Fever's game against Chicago Sky. Rivers passionately defended Clark, addressing the criticism and hostility she faced. He emphasized that Clark's impact on women's basketball is undeniable, drawing parallels to iconic figures in sports who have elevated their games and brought increased visibility and respect to their respective leagues. Rivers pointed out that before Clark's emergence, women's basketball did not receive the recognition it deserved, despite having numerous talented players. He highlighted Clark's exceptional skills, likening her influence to that of Stephen Curry in the NBA, and criticized those who attributed her popularity to factors other than her athletic prowess. Rivers stressed that Clark's talent and unique playing style has significantly contributed to the rising popularity of women's basketball, urging critics to appreciate her contribution rather than undermine her achievements. Meanwhile, Matt Barnes took a different angle, focusing on the lack of support from Clark's teammate during these physical confrontations. Barnes expressed his disappointment in the Indiana Fever's players for not defending their star player. He recalled his own experiences as an NBA player who protected his teammates and emphasized the importance of unity and support within a team. Barnes criticized the Fever players for not stepping up and protecting Clark, suggesting that their lack of solidarity might contribute to the team's struggles in the league. Barnes argued that physical play is a part of basketball, but it's the responsibility of the teammates to stand up for each other, especially for their star players like Clark. He called out the Fever for failing to do so, suggesting that this lack of team cohesion and protection might be why they are struggling in the league standings. Barnes urged the Fever players to do better in supporting and defending their teammates to foster a stronger, more united team. Both Rivers and Barnes highlighted different aspects of the situation but agreed on the importance of recognizing and supporting talented players like Caitlin Clark. Rivers called for broader appreciation and respect for Clark's contribution to the games, while Barnes emphasized the need for her teammates to step up and protect her on the court. Draymond Green wants Indiana Fever to get an enforcer immediately. Draymond Green has voiced his opinion on the Indiana Fever's need for an enforcer after witnessing Caitlin Clark endure multiple chip shots during their game against the Chicago Sky. Commenting on an Instagram post, Green stated, "Indiana better go invest in an enforcer fast." Green's call for an enforcer is rooted in his understanding of the game and the need for physical and emotional support with a team. Enforcers in basketball aren't gangsters or harmful individuals. Rather, they are players who ensure their teammates' safety and morale by standing up for them in tough situations. These players bring a sense of security and solidarity to the team, deterring opponents from engaging in dirty play or excessive physicality. Having an enforcer will mean that players like Clark, who have faced relentless physicalities and cheap shots from opponents, will be better protected on the court. This protection allows star players to focus on their game without the constant worry of being targeted. It also sends a strong message to the rest of the league that any unnecessary roughness will be met with firm resistance. Enforcers play a crucial role akin to what James Johnson provides for the Indiana Pacers. Known for their toughness, these players may not always log heavy minutes on the court, but their presence is felt throughout the team. They bring an unyielding support system ready to step in and stand up for their teammates whenever needed. This role is vital for maintaining team cohesion and ensuring that key players like Clark can perform at their best without undue harassment. Draymond Green's suggestion for the Indiana Fever to get an enforcer is spot on. It addresses the need for a strong, supportive presence that can protect star players from excessive physical play. By investing in such a player, the Fever can enhance their team dynamic, boost morale, and ensure that their key players like Clark have the backing they need to focus on winning games.
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. I wanted to make this video about Caitlin Clark real quick because I've seen a lot happen with her, a lot of jealousy, hateful comments come her way. Listen, I'm an NBA guy. Obviously, I covered the NBA as well. So I was going to just stay in my lane and just kind of fall back and let other people speak out on her behalf. For me, enough's enough with this. First and foremost, let's just get right into it. Let's be honest. Women's basketball as a whole, for the longest time, did not garner a lot of attention and the proper respect. For the longest time, the WNBA was synonymous for a lot of things. Not making a lot of money, actually losing money, to be completely honest. their athletes not being compensated properly, their athletes not being treated properly, and as a whole, their sport and brand of basketball in terms of women playing basketball did not garner really proper attention. Nobody really cared or paid attention to it, which is a damn shame because you girls have been great. You have been world-class athletes. I grew up appreciating, I'm a hooper though, but I grew up watching the Beasts play in the WNBA. I grew up watching Diana Taurasi do her thing. And Sue Bird wow us for her savvy, and Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie go after it, and Maya Moore and Cheryl Swoops, and the list goes on. There's been greatness in the WNBA. You guys have been great women athletes. But for whatever reason, mainly due to ignorance, your sport has not garnered the proper attention and respect that it's long overdue. And now this woman comes along and brings the world in and is now giving y'all that proper attention and respect, and you guys are getting these brand deals and getting this money, and instead of being an appreciative and acknowledging that, you guys are like coming at her with these like hate-ass comments talking about, oh, well, you know, it's not just because of her, blah, 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 blah. Last night our game was sold out and she didn't play. Last night we flew charter and she wasn't on that flight. Let's stop it. It's not a coincidence you guys are just now chartering flights her rookie year. It's not a coincidence that now that she's in the WNBA, everyone's paying attention to the WNBA. I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot more people are. Okay, it's not a coincidence. It's the Caitlin Clark effect. Now, are there a lot of hands that can be raised of people who had a part to play? For sure. Angel Reese, Paige, Haley, Juju, the list goes on. There's women athletes, basketball players, and coaches who could raise their hand and say they had a part to play in the awareness that has grown in the game of women's basketball. But no more than Caitlin Clark. If you girls were Destiny's Child, she would be Beyonce. If all the girls in collegiate sports were a band and they were in sync, she would be Justin Timberlake. She was the main attraction. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. All right? And it's not because she's white. It's not because she's straight. Good God, no one cares. And it's not because she's pretty. Another thing I heard from some woman who knows nothing about basketball saying that. It's because she's an unbelievable basketball player and talent. It's because she has a game style that we've never really seen before. We were watching last year's games. I promise you, I was watching Iowa women's basketball, not because a woman out there that was playing was straight or white. It was because a woman was pulling up from half court looking like a Stephen Curry. She's like the Stephen Curry of women's basketball, and hopefully she can be that one day. She's got a lot to do and a lot of work cut out for her. But hey, we're going to cheer her along as the way. No one's saying Caitlin Clark is the greatest basketball player ever. No one's saying Caitlin Clark is the greatest basketball player even right now in the WNBA. She's not even in that conversation yet. But she's a hell of a talent, and her game style, her aura, everything about her has brought people in and brought awareness to your sport to where now we get to see all these great players in your craft. You have the whole world tuning in now to your sport, seeing how great you girls really are, and I have always been. So instead of hating on her and cheap shotting her like I saw today in the game, which was BS, it was a non-basketball play, or sneak dissing her on your Snapchat or your TikTok or your Instagram or your post-game interviews, appreciate her. It's about that time. We need to grow up and move on. Pay respect.